Hey business buddies, it's Hung Lee here again and welcome to another presentation where we're going to be discussing how to get more high-end clients using B2B marketing strategies that no LinkedIn marketing expert is teaching you. As usual, there'll be a ton of gold nuggets, aha moments and breakthroughs throughout today's presentation, which will run for less than 90 minutes, so feel free to go ahead and quickly get a pen and paper. And just for the record, I'm not selling anything on this webinar presentation. However, if you'd like to reach out to me after this presentation, I would certainly welcome that. But for now, let's focus on how I can best help you become nothing short of unstoppable. So quick question, are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling like the strategies and tactics that you've been using for the past 3 months, 6 months or even a year have stopped working or have come to some sort of a halt? Rest assured you're in the right place at the right time, and here's exactly what you're going to learn today. How to leverage the most underrated LinkedIn advertising platform that barely anyone is talking about. You may have seen a few internet marketers, gurus, what have you, go ahead and post a few videos about this advertising platform, but no one's really delved into the nuts and bolts until today. How to instantly differentiate yourself from other B2B marketers and be perceived as an expert, authority, and strategic advisor without spending hours a day grinding out endless amounts of content. How to reach high-level decision makers who can actually say yes. Let's face it, it's quite easy to be able to reach anyone at any time in any company, but you don't want to reach people who are constantly saying no to you. You actually want to reach the high-level decision makers who have the power to say yes, here's a check and let's get started. So we'll definitely go ahead and really deconstruct that. So how do you do all of this, even if you hate cold calling, dealing with tie kicker prospects, working 100-hour work weeks, creating endless amounts of content to the point you want to hit your head against the wall, and charging less than what you are worth? And just to give a bit of context so you know who's this Aussie Asian sounding guy who's presenting to you on this webinar presentation. I'm Hung Lee, so I was born and raised in Perth, Western Australia. Now I'm currently a digital nomad, so I'm constantly traveling between Philippines, Singapore, Australia and United States, and I absolutely love it. It gets me out of bed every single morning. I'm a mechanical engineer turned entrepreneur since 2009, and throughout the whole process I've managed to build and sell 2 companies, one being a mobile app business for 6 figures back in 2012, as well as a digital marketing agency with 40 staff in the Philippines for 7 figures in 2014. I've spent about $1.8 million in online advertising, of which the bulk of that was Facebook ads and AdWords, and that's not even counting LinkedIn ads, which is what we'll be going ahead and delving into today. And how many experts have you spoken about who said, yeah, I've spent, or I've managed $100 million worth of Facebook advertising budget, but when you really ask them, how much of that money was your money, real money that you invested in order to be able to grow your company? More often than not, it'll be a big fat zero figure. I'm putting money where my mouth is, and this 1.8 million that I've invested in online advertising has come directly from my own pocket in order to be able to turn that from being an expense into being an investment. And I'm going to exactly teach you how to do the same with today's LinkedIn advertising platforms. I'm also top 1% of most viewed LinkedIn profiles since 2012. I'm a business growth advisor, licensing strategist, deal maker, mentor who's helped more than 36 entrepreneurs build multiple 6 and even 7-figure businesses. Here's a disclaimer, I'm not guaranteeing that you'll achieve the same or even similar results. However, let me share with you 2 winning case stories of entrepreneurs I've helped radically be able to change their mindset as well as their business, and it's a function and extension of exactly why I love doing what I do. So first case story is Brendan. Brendan was able to close a $29,500 deal by pinpointing the right exact niche that would inevitably amplify his strengths as opposed to go ahead and dwell on what his weaknesses were. Second is Mark. Mark was able to go ahead and scale from $17K per month where he originally was before he came to me to $60K per month in less than 6 months, and then now he's on $200K per month plus on literally a rocket ship to success. And how this was primarily achieved was by pinpointing Mark's main leverage points within his life and business and remove any core constraints that were getting in the way of him hitting this $200K per month and onwards. In a nutshell, the game has changed. The same tactics and strategies that we're using, in the past 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, what have you, really aren't as effective as they used to be. And the reason being is due to these 3 significant shifts. I'm sure you may be able to point out other big shifts, but these are the 3 significant ones that have been able to affect both you and I. First shift is that it's getting exponentially more expensive in order to acquire a client, let alone get people's attention or earn people's attention. Second shift is H to H. So no longer is there business to business or business to consumer. There's always a human at the end of the buyer cycle or at the end of the sales cycle that has to actually make a decision. It's not a business that makes a decision. It's not a consumer. It's a human being that has to make the decision. So our goal from here onwards should be to humanize any form of marketing or selling that we do in order to provide personalized products or solutions. Shift 3 is really the exponential increase of messenger apps. You have probably noticed it that you're spending more time using messenger apps, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Messenger, or whether it's Instagram Messenger, as opposed to scrolling through your newsfeed all the time, which is why this graph in front of you outlines the fact that messenger apps really have surpassed social networks, and we need to go ahead and understand that the person that we're trying to market or sell to is spending much more time within messenger apps as opposed to traditional social network. From all this, you may be feeling frustrated with where you are financially, maybe feeling confused about what path to take. You're pulled in all different directions, you've seen a million strategies and tactics, and it just all seems fragmented to the point that you're just worried as to where that next client will come from. You're feeling lonely because you don't get to do all the things you want to do, or see all the people you want to see in your life and spend time with the awesome people who just mean the most in your life. Maybe feeling self-doubt and wondering what's wrong with me at the moment, or even tired of all the hyped up courses out there that overpromise and under-deliver, leaving you more frustrated and in-depth than when you originally started. And I personally made this presentation for you today for frustrated B2B marketers, agency owners, and entrepreneurs just like yourself, who are just absolutely dissatisfied with traditional cheesy LinkedIn tactics, clunky, fragmented Facebook ads, or never-ending content marketing tactics and strategies that just take absolutely forever in order to land that next client. So this predictable, repeatable, scalable yet simple system will go ahead and help you land more high-end clients without ever having to worry about where your next client will come from. And unlike the common talked about LinkedIn spammy and self-centered tactics that the gurus teach you, my system, this 4-step system today, will go ahead and position you as the go-to expert, authority, and strategic advisor. So let's make a deal. There's no get rich quick. There's no do nothing get paid. What I'm sharing with you takes work. It takes strategy. It takes a 10x level different way of thinking. But you're not going to be able to achieve remarkable results unless you put in the remarkable effort moving forward. And also, no MLM pyramid scheme lovers. That's fine. If you love to be in the business of recruiting people, that's okay, but this webinar presentation most probably isn't for you. So I just want to get that out of the way so that we will both have a deep level understanding in terms of what's required of the system that I've gone ahead and deconstruct for you moving forward. Quick story before we get into the nuts and bolts. Back in the good old days in 2012, I received this particular email message from LinkedIn. Hung, congratulations, you have one of the top 1% most viewed LinkedIn profiles for 2012. So this was pretty neat. Back in 2012, I was extremely active on LinkedIn. I was active in all the groups. I was adding as much value as possible, and I built 80% of my digital marketing agency at the time on the backbone of adding remarkable value within LinkedIn and getting appointments booked left, right, and center. However, in 2014, I found a much more leveraged way to be able to bring in high-end clients, and that was through B2B Facebook ads. So having the option to be able to target employers and create hyper-targeted ad sets where one campaign I would target, let's say, IBM, another campaign I would target Oracle, etc. So I was creating these hyper-targeted ads for a fraction of the cost of what everyone else was paying, and I was able to get clients for, ridiculous amounts of cost per acquisition costs, from as little as $30 to be able to land a new client for $5K per month. It was just absolutely insane. And then I got a crazy idea to go ahead and systemize everything, put it into a video, just add immense value to the marketplace, and I posted this video onto YouTube, and without any hardcore promotion was able to get 18,149 views up until this point, which doesn't sound like much in your eyes. You guys are probably used to watching videos with millions of views, but to me this is quite a lot when you've got a very hyper targeted topic aimed at B2B business owners. And as a result, I was able to bring in 7 figures worth of coaching, consulting, and public speaking deals, and it was a heck of a ton of fun. I was just like, this is really the holy grail, to be able to land high-paying clients on demand and to do it in a way that's quite unique to everyone else. Then 2 massive changes hit, and it hit me like pretty much 2 tidal waves. And the first tidal wave hit in September 2017. It was in relation to this article here. So I'll read the headline for you. So Facebook yanks education, employment, field of study, and job title targeting after advertiser selects Jew hater and Nazi party. So what happened was, a very well-known marketing PR agency discovered that you could target these obscene types of interests such as Jew hater, Nazi party and so forth, and it caused this huge uproar within the whole Facebook advertising organization. So they just went along and just removed employer targeting, they removed targeting by education, field of study, etc. And it pretty much went along and just put a big dent in my employer targeting strategy. So as you can see here, immediately I thought rest in peace employer targeting. You would see work industries, but you couldn't really target by job title or employer based targeting. I just felt like this little bubble right here, no, because overnight I had a flood of emails, a flood of phone calls from my clients saying what the heck is going on. Looks like our Facebook ads campaigns are all paused. Our lead generation engine is starting to dry up. What on earth is going on? And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I got hit with another tidal wave in March 2018. And here I say rest in peace partner categories. What partner categories entailed was that a handful, I think it was about 5 or 6 data brokers that teamed up with Facebook who were able to supply hyper targeted level data that was extremely useful for us Facebook advertisers. If you want to target an entrepreneur within Connecticut who's making more than $500,000 per year, who's in the aviation industry, you could target that person. Now that's all been gone, taken away, removed, and we can all say goodbye to it. Here I said rest in peace granular targeting. So this is the exact message that Facebook sent through. It happened disruptive overnight, and I'll read it out to you. So shutting down partner categories. We want to let advertisers know that we'll be shutting down partner categories. This product enables third-party data providers to offer their targeting directly on Facebook. While this is common industry practice, we believe this step, winding down or over the next 6 months, will help improve people's privacy on Facebook. As you can imagine, after being hit with these 2 tidal waves, it was not very pleasant. In a nutshell, I felt as if Facebook was Muhammad Ali and this guy knocked on the ground was little old me. That's exactly how I felt after being hit by these 2 tidal waves. Felt sad, I felt down, I felt depressed. What on earth is going on? It was a big shake up to me, like is there a better way of doing things that would be much more predictable, scalable and repeatable? And I felt stuck. I just felt like what the heck has happened? I've been hit by these 2 big tidal waves and my whole company depends on me developing a new strategy, one that wins, and that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you today. But I was faced with a decision. I had to decide for myself, do I go ahead and give up or do I go ahead and push through and do something that's 10x better than what I've ever done before? And like the J.K. Rowling quote, the only way out is through. You can't just sidestep things in life. You have to go through the tough times in order to appreciate the good times. So I went back to the drawing board and it wasn't easy. I had to lock myself away in my computer cave, so to speak, and just create a plan, strategically plan, and just dig deep, ask myself strategic questions and systemize things in a formula that would be repeatable, scalable, predictable, that could pass on to anyone should they want to replicate my level of success as well. So I went along, I pushed through, I persevered, and I was able to go ahead and really systemize majority of the success I've had in the past 9-10 years, what have you, into a systematic formula that could be passed on to anyone else who's listening to this presentation, including yourself. And then I had this crazy breakthrough idea that then led to the systematic formula that I'll be sharing with you today, and I came back with a vengeance. I felt stronger, I felt better, and I knew that this strategy alone was to go ahead and be at the forefront of what everyone else or every other guru was trying to preach out in the marketplace. And as a result, I created the 4 steps LinkedIn leverage system. But let's talk about what the gurus are teaching us. So what are we learning from these gurus, so to speak? You know, guru method number 1, let's just go ahead and just spam a whole bunch of LinkedIn groups. Don't worry about going ahead having to create relationships. Just join these groups, just post as much as you can, whether it's the content, whether it's you shouting about how great you are, just do it. Like, you know, it all takes massive action, right? Then next thing you know, you've got this sort of response from all these groups as if they're just dead. No one's responding to your messages, no one's responding to your pictures. What on earth is going on? Guru method number 2. How about we just go ahead and just connect with anyone and everyone to the point that people just go ahead and just can't help but want to go ahead and accept our requests and take us up on our appointments, right? But you end up feeling like Sigourney Weaver in the Aliens movie, where every time someone says, hi, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn, you just feel absolutely intimidated because you know you're going to get some sort of sales pitch within the next 24 minutes. And then when that happens, you just feel like you're the next Scarface and you need to go ahead and push them away because just all these marketing messages, all these sales messages are just getting way too much for you, to the point that you feel like you're Scarface and you need to go ahead and shoot them away. Not physically, but mentally. Guru method number 3 is, let's go ahead and just scrape a whole bunch of emails. You know, it doesn't matter if you've never really connected with a person on LinkedIn. Just find their LinkedIn profile, use an email scraper plugin, get their email address, add it into an autoresponder like MailChimp, Aweber, what have you, and then just spam the heck out of them. All of a sudden you get into trouble because you don't realize that you're actually breaking a lot of rules, not only against the law, but also in terms of being able to build great connections and add goodwill in the marketplace. All you've done is you've just gone ahead and actually hurt your reputation, hurt your connections, and made the industry worse as a whole. So if you're doing any of these 3 tactics, I won't call them strategies, but tactics, I just want to give you permission today to be able to stop. Just stop doing it. I'm going to give you a much better strategy today that can go ahead and really scale things effectively and efficiently without going ahead and making yourself feel salesy or even slimy to begin with. So what's the secret sauce then? The secret sauce is what I've gone ahead and systemized into a formula that I call the 4 steps LinkedIn leverage system. And here's a quick overview. Step 1 is to create a LinkedIn sponsored InMail campaign. So just to give a quick rundown, what exactly is a LinkedIn sponsored InMail? There's 2 ways of doing sponsored InMail. You can go ahead and go to someone's profile and just send them an InMail. So it's a paid message because they're not exactly connected to you within your first degree network, so you can't just send them a message for free. You'll have to go ahead and actually pay an average about $10 to be able to do that. You'll have certain LinkedIn plans and so forth. That's another presentation itself, but in essence you do have to pay much more to be able to reach that one person. So generally I only advocate that type of InMail when you're looking at strategic partners or reaching a very select few of prospects. However, if you're targeting like 1,000 prospects like what I'm going to teach you today, you will need a much more scalable solution, which exactly is the LinkedIn sponsored InMail advertising platform. So as you can see on the left hand side, this platform is about getting into people's messenger inbox, so their LinkedIn messenger inbox, to give them some sort of enticement, some sort of value that they'll be inspired to click through, maybe jump on a webinar, maybe download a PDF report or have a free trial of the software solution, whatever have you. But really it's a much more strategic way to be able to spark a connection as opposed to relying on the LinkedIn newsfeed, which, let's face it, very small percentage of people really engage in the LinkedIn newsfeed. Then step 2 is to be able to capture leads through a lead gen form. So for majority of you who have done like Facebook ads, you can go ahead and capture, you know, leads within Facebook without your prospective client leaving Facebook to begin with. That's very similar to LinkedIn lead gen forms, is you're able to go ahead and actually capture leads, like pretty much their work phone number, work email, whatever details they've got on LinkedIn, to be able to capture that while they're browsing around LinkedIn without having to leave LinkedIn to begin with. And then those details can actually be synchronized into your favorite CRM platforms. Step 3 is to set the appointment. Step 4 is to pitch the executive briefing, so to be able to actually provide some level of comfortable environment for the buyer that you've got onto the phone with, and to be able to really make sure that they're pre-qualified, they're excited, and they're looking to go ahead and have you solve their particular problem. So before we jump right into mechanics, of course, we need to make sure there's a foundation that's put in place, and that foundation always involves who's your ideal customer and what is your pitch. So let's go back to basics. So marketing 101. Firstly, we have to go ahead and commit to serving a particular niche. I know it's tempting to want to go ahead and just get business from anyone, everyone, but like the age-old saying goes, if anyone is your customer, then no one is your customer. If anyone's your client, then no one is your client. We also need to perfect pitch market fit. So in the tech world, we always talk about product market fit. So making sure that your product is something that the marketplace wants to actually invest in and give you money for. But we need to take a step back from that and say, okay, are people actually wanting to invest in our idea? Are they actually convinced that our big idea will go ahead and solve their necessary problems? And that's what I call pitch market fit. So making sure that you're very good at what you do, but being able to convey it in a compelling message that the marketplace automatically puts a hand up and says, yes, you're the one that I've been looking for. How do we get started? And then thirdly, of course, being able to set up your LinkedIn company page. We'll delve into that in the first step. That's a very simple process, so don't worry about the technical stuff. It's nothing too hardcore technical here, and I'm going to delve into it step by step. Here are some questions to ask when you're trying to decide on the niche that you want to commit and serve. Firstly, who do I care most about helping in order to solve a painful problem, which will empower me to provide the fastest and best results possible? 2, who is already investing money in my services or an alternative solution to solve the problem in question 1? And 3, do any of my current clients or members of my current network appeal to questions 1 and 2? So here's a power tip: really delve into your current testimonials, your current case studies, because that will tell you who your top 20% of buyers are, who are most likely the best niche to be able to serve, because they're a joy to work with, they're just great to go ahead and be of service to, with the minimal amount of frustration that you'll ever experience in comparison to any other types of clientele. So how do we master our pitch? Here's a great template for you. Here's a winning template for you. I or we help niche achieve X outcome in Y time without Z, which is the biggest fear or pain. Here's an example. We help enterprise software companies win big accounts in 90 days or less without hindering the current revenue run rate. Are you ready for it? So step 1, LinkedIn sponsored InMail. Just go to business.linkedin.com/marketing-solution/ads. So once you click the link below, you can just search it up, LinkedIn ads. Then you'll be taken upon a similar page. It looks like this. Click create ad. Then click add account. If you are new to LinkedIn ads, you'll find that there won't be any sort of account there. So you have to create a new account from scratch. Then go to where it says already have a company or showcase page. You'll have to go ahead and either add your existing LinkedIn company page or go ahead and actually create one from scratch by clicking on I don't have a company page, which you will then be taken to the small screen similar to what's on the right hand side. Just follow the instructions. It's quite intuitive and LinkedIn will take you through the process. Then once you're ready, just click add account. Then you'll be taken to this page, so the campaign manager. Click on the drop down menu, click create, then click campaign. Then you'll be taken this ad product sort of selection criteria. Don't click the first two, click the third one. So sponsored InMail. I want to send targeted messages directly to the people who matter most to my business. So click select, and this is where really the magic begins. Then look at the campaign. If you're familiar with any other types of ad products, campaign group is similar to ad sets on whether it's AdWords or whether it's Facebook ads. Then click on collect leads using LinkedIn lead gen form. So we don't want to send people to just any random website or content. We want to go ahead and leverage the fact that we can capture leads within LinkedIn's ecosystem without having to make it harder for the prospective client. So lead gen forms allows us to have no landing page needed, which leads to maximum conversions. Then go ahead and make sure you're selecting the right sender. So if you've got multiple people on your actual company page, so multiple administrations, so to speak, you'll have multiple people here listed for sender, but you want to make sure that these sponsored emails are coming from the person who will have the most authority, i.e. yourself. Always put a face to the name. So remember what I said, it's about human to human. It's not about business to business or business to consumer. Next, you'll be presented with this screen. It sort of looks like you're pretty much compiling an email, which is, I guess, the good UX UI version of it. You're probably wondering, what the heck do you write in this specific sponsored email? And here's my $1 million template. What you see in the subject line is a merge tag. Don't worry, it's not any hardcore coding or anything, but you want to have the first name question mark. So I'll delve into the template. So hi, first name, would you be open to an unusual but effective way to insert practical goal most prospects struggle with, question mark, with an approach that different, new idea, vague yet interesting. It may be possible to goal/objective or without typical sacrifice that would need to be made in the industry. We help niche achieve desired result in time frame without biggest fear/pain of industry players. Would you be open to exploring via email if a larger conversation makes sense, question mark? If so, click the learn more button and LinkedIn will help us keep the conversation going. Talk soon, your first name. Okay, so here's an example of how I would use that. So Susan, question mark. Hi Susan, would you be open to an unusual but effective way to win more big accounts, question mark? With an approach that leverages your existing resources, it may be possible to add 1 million or more in revenue, all without hindering your current revenue run rate, question mark. I work with enterprise software companies to help win big accounts. I'll work with enterprise software companies to help them win big accounts in 90 days or less without hindering their current revenue run rate. Would you be open to exploring via email if a larger conversation makes sense? If so, click the Learn More button and LinkedIn will help us keep the conversation going. Talk soon. Hung. As you scroll down, you'll see a section that asks, would you like to add a custom footer for terms, conditions, or disclaimers? Just click no, unless your particular company has your own specific privacy policy, etc. And then on the right hand side, just click on next once you're ready. Then for landing page URL, here's the thing, you don't need to have a landing page for this specific strategy, but you can take them somewhere after they've opted in. So you could send through a sample case study, you could send through a link to your contact us page, or you could just give them some sort of surprise gift. And then for call to action button, I would suggest that you just have something short and sweet like learn more, or even, connect with us or contact us. And then for form template, so you need to actually go ahead and create a specific form template to be able to capture your prospective clients through a lead gen form. So how we can achieve this is just by going ahead and clicking on create new form template. Once you do, you'll be taken to this screen. So don't worry, I'm going to walk you through step by step on this. Okay, so first is the offer headline, which I would just put something very casual that's open loop. So I would just say just one more step ... You don't need to come up with some fancy headline. You have very minimal characters here, so I would just have something that's simple, straight to the point. And then second part is the offer detail. So I'll just say click submit when you're ready to keep the conversation going. Next is the privacy policy URL. So there's lots of privacy policy templates you can find online. Just jump on Google, search privacy policy templates, and you'll be able to knock up something within 10 minutes or less. And then the custom privacy policy text, which I'll just write something which is very professional, such as we respect your privacy and will never share your information. After you fill in that particular section, you will then be asked, okay, what types of information do you want to collect? So I'm sure you're wondering, okay, with all these types of options here, wouldn't it be most effective that we get as much details as possible? That's sort of true, but at the end of the day, you're going to hurt your conversions a lot. The more details you ask for, of course, the lower your conversions. But of course, if we ask for too little detail, it's a little bit hard to be able to customize the messages that we'll be following up with moving forward. One thing I would advocate is to also ask for the client's phone number or work phone number, especially when you're targeting big corporations. It makes it a heck of a lot easier to have a direct line so that you can just call them up directly and have a warm phone call should you want to follow up in the near future. So I would suggest that you just be very clear on which specific opt-in metrics would add value. Once you do go ahead and pre-populate the specific details on the left hand side, the right hand side will show you exactly what the lead generation form will look like within LinkedIn. If you choose to want to add in custom questions because you're not really too satisfied with what LinkedIn has at the moment, you can create your own custom questions. That could be single line text, that could be multiple choice. It's entirely up to you. Then once you're ready, just click on next. You'll be taken to this screen, which don't worry, I'll help you go ahead and fill that in right now. So for the thank you message, I'll just put in something casual and say, thanks for connecting. If you would like to know how we helped whatever client name bring in $10 million worth of new enterprise SaaS accounts, click download now. So if you want, you can go ahead and just send through like a case study for them to download, the link to the website. So let's say the link to the gifts or the specific case study you want to give, and then your thank you page call to action. I would say download now or learn more if you're not too sure about what to say, and then click on save, of course, when you're ready to go. Next, once you're on step 2 of 5 for the ad location, you want to make sure everything looks cool, everything's all good. Then click on next. Then you'll be taken to this screen, and it may look a little bit overwhelming. Don't worry, I'll walk you through this. So let's go ahead and zero in on the actual specific targeting of your campaign. My favorite areas are company industry, company size, and job seniority. Let's say we're targeting United States, computer software companies, so SaaS, software as a service, and mid-sized firms who have between 51 to 200 employees. And we only want to target the high-level decision makers, so owner, director, VP position, anyone who's within the C-suite or a partner of the actual mid-sized organization. As a result, there's 74,000 LinkedIn members that we can target. I'm sure you'll be able to land at least one deal out of that. Next, you'll be asked to enable the audience expansion. Okay, I wouldn't bother with this. LinkedIn, just like Google or even Facebook, they have their own sort of display network where you can appear on their sort of content sites. I wouldn't bother with it because it will just skew your metrics and it's not really that targeted, so don't worry for now. Then once you're ready, click next. Okay, so how we get charged is cost per send. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing for a few first timers. Okay, so the bid type is cost per send. So this is slightly different to what many of you may be accustomed to, whether you've used Facebook ads or Google AdWords in the past. So we actually get charged for every link in mail that gets delivered to a person's inbox, whether or not they actually open up your specific message. So I know what you're thinking, oh, well, if you do that, then, costs will be through the roof. Rest assured, I'll make sure that we have extremely high open rates so that you don't sink a ton of money down the drain. But just know that's how LinkedIn goes ahead and actually bills you, is through cost per send. Next section is the daily budget. So they'll say about $10 per day, $20 per day, whatever. It depends upon the industry that you're looking to go ahead and target. Next is the bid. So they'll say like minimum bid is 70 cents and the average bid is, let's say, 86 cents. I would suggest to always bid about 6 cents higher than what their recommended bid is, because then you'll be able to get the highest quality traffic without having to worry if LinkedIn will go ahead and serve your ads enough. Then you can see there's a drop down menu on the bottom that says show end date, total budget and ad rotation options. Just click on that. Next, you'll see a screen similar to this. You always want to optimize for clicks so that LinkedIn will go ahead and give you the best quality traffic of targeted users who actually go ahead and want to take you up on whatever offer you present within their inbox. So just ensure optimize for clicks is selected. Once you're ready, click next. Then you'll be asked to go ahead and fill in your billing information. And now we're on step 2. So step 2 is where we really start to maximize the email side of things. And as mentioned, you want to be able to go ahead and connect your LinkedIn lead gen forms with the integrations of your favorite CRM. The number one platform to be able to do this is to use Zapier, which is an API integration. So don't worry too much about it. Just go to this particular site, hook it up. It's quite user intuitive. Zapier helps you integrate your LinkedIn lead gen forms with your favorite CRMs such as MailChimp, Salesforce, HubSpot, etc. and to be able to do it with ease. So not only do you generate leads by helping your prospective buyers be more comfortable in the LinkedIn environment by capturing leads through LinkedIn, specifically the messenger inbox, but being able to actually synchronize that with your CRM autoresponder. So here's the first automated opt-in email I want going out. So the moment that someone fills in your LinkedIn lead gen form and then you connect that to your autoresponder, you want an automatic email coming out that will go ahead and really spark conversation. You don't want to send something through that goes ahead, ticks off your prospective buyer, makes you think that you're spammy. You want to actually engage in a high value conversation. So here's the subject title. As per our LinkedIn conversation, and here's the email body. Great to hear from you, name. So tell me, where are you least clear in knowing how to achieve desired result? Question mark. Happy to help, name. That's it, short and sweet. You don't need to have a whole 5-paragraph essay about how great you are. This is about earning the trust of that prospective buyer, but also getting a good reputation within the buyer's inbox, specifically their email inbox. So here's a template of the first opt-in email. As per our LinkedIn conversation, great to hear from you, Susan. So tell me, where are you least clear in knowing how to win more big accounts? Question mark. Happy to help, whom? That's it, straight to the point. So here's one thing I want you to really keep into account is that although the first email is automated, all future emails from here onwards need to be manual when you're going ahead and really targeting high-end clients. Yes, I know what you're thinking, but what if we get 10,000 leads? It's going to be so hard to be able to manage it all. Just calm down. You're not going to get 10,000 leads overnight. Start small, but think big. At most, you probably get maybe 10 leads per day, and that's when you're going ahead and really hitting it hard and spending, maybe $1,000 or $500 per day on LinkedIn ads. But for now, let's just focus on the fact that we need to add much more value to the prospective client who's just joined our email list, and we need to treat particular prospective buyer with respect and care. And here's how we're going to do that, and that's by being an email barista. It can really brew up some great email interactions to add value and engage with the prospective buyer to the point that they will ask us to be able to book an appointment, or that we invite them to an appointment, and it becomes a no-brainer. So the next email follow-up after they've responded to your first automated one would be something along the lines of this. Thanks for sharing. First name. Our current clients have also experienced common frustration in industry. Moreover, what other options have you tried in order to achieve desired result? Name. So here's a template of the first response example. Thanks for sharing, Susan. Our current clients have also experienced the constant worry with regards to whether their revenue run rate would sustain the long sales cycle of trying to win more big accounts. Moreover, what other options have you tried in order to win more big accounts? Talk soon. Hung. Then your second response, so once you get a response from that, is you want to really lay out the foundation so that you know exactly what they're looking for, but you don't want to tell them, hey, this is what you need. You want to actually get the answers from them by asking smart questions. And here's the second response. Seeing as options 1, 2, 3, etc. didn't produce favorable results, and if I were to wave a magic wand, what would the perfect solution look like? Talk soon. Hung. So here's the template of the second response. Seeing as cold calling and trade shows didn't produce favorable results, and if I were to wave a magic wand, what would the perfect solution look like? Talk soon. Hung. Then you'll go ahead and get a whole bunch of responses. So your prospective buyer, or in this case Susan, will say, well, my ideal solution would be something like ... Really listen, and I know you're not on the phone, you engage it through email, but listen to what it is that they're really sharing with you, because not only are they having the courage to be able to tell you what the business is experiencing, but that's exactly what will lead to the potential phone call. And then the third response, you want to be able to actually tee things up to add immense value, and to do it in a way that differentiates you from every other B2B marketer or entrepreneur, period. And here's how you respond back. You would say, I just had a light bulb moment, as you mentioned, insert perfect solution. If I send through some ideas and resources, would you be open to spending 3 minutes with it? Happy to help. Name. So here's an example of that particular template. I just had a light bulb moment, as you mentioned, a real-time dashboard that compares length of sales cycle with cost per acquisition of account. If I send through some ideas and resources, would you be open to spending 3 minutes with it? Happy to help. Hung. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what on earth do I put within this particular sort of ideas and resources slide deck? What do I do? How do I compile it in a way that's, I guess, sexy enough for this prospective buyer to go ahead and say, wow. There's a few slide deck resources I would suggest. I'm sure many of you have heard of PowerPoint, even Google Slide, but you can also use SlideBean if you want some set templates as well. So within these slide deck resources, you want to go ahead and compile what are called the 10 slides within a slide deck. The first one being the big idea. So you want to go ahead and craft what is it that's your big idea that will add value to this prospective buyer. So your big idea should be a one-line, unique value proposition, benefit-focused statement. Second, what's changing within the particular industry. List out 3 market forces. So what's changing economically, socially, and technologically that's impacting why they would go ahead and need your particular solution. 3, what's the problem? So what's the significant problem that nobody else is solving? 4, generic solutions. So list out the existing alternatives or the status quo of being able to do things in industry that really makes it a no-brainer for your particular solution. And then 5, what is your particular solution? If you want, you can embed a screen share video of how you actually solve your prospective buyer's problem. Then 6 is you want to mention straight out your value proposition. So how your value proposition is company specific to the particular company you're targeting. 7, you want to talk about the economics. So what's the potential for gain? What is your prospective client able to win as a result of doing business with you? Slide 8, social proof. So you want to go ahead and list out existing case studies, testimonials, media mentions, so that you can really exponentially leverage trust in a way that will differentiate you from every other person who's tried to pitch them. Slide 9 is what I call pricing. So this is exclusivity, to say that you don't work with anyone and everyone, and that exclusivity comes on a first come first served basis, but you need to make sure that you mention this, because then they know that you're not dying for the business, and you'll come from a place of saying that if we are a good fit moving forward, then let's talk. And then last slide is to go ahead and have a strong call to action when you invite the prospective buyer and prospective client for a meeting to be able to find out more about how they can possibly work. Here's the manual email follow-up. Once you've compiled your 10 slide deck, pitch deck, whatever you want to call it, then you would go back to your prospective client, and here's a template for being able to respond back in the most effective manner possible. So name, here is the link to the overview. Insert your URL, so you want it to be cloud-based, so it's much easier for them to actually access it. If you agree that it is worth talking about and the fit may be there, let's have a follow-up call. Have you got your calendar handy? Question mark. Here's mine, so insert a link to an online scheduler. Thought it'd be easier rather than us going back and forth. Looking forward to connecting. Name. So here's an example. Susan. Here is the link to the overview, slide deck URL. If you agree that is worth talking about and the fit may be there, let's have a follow-up call. Have you got your calendar handy? Question mark. Here's mine. There's a link to URL for the online scheduler. Thought it'd be easier rather than going back and forth. Looking forward to connecting. Once you go ahead and set the appointment, or the appointment has been set on both sides. So why do we use an online scheduler? Well, firstly, we want to automate bookings to avoid the whole ping pong conversation. I'm sure many of you on this presentation have heard or experienced the ping pong conversation where you constantly having to ask, okay, Mr. Prospect, are you free Monday at 3 p.m? And then your prospect says, no. Can you do Tuesday at 9 a.m? You say, no, I can't do Tuesday at 9 a.m. Can you do Wednesday? And it just goes back and forth, and there's this level of inefficiency that creeps up, and an online scheduler is able to mediate that. Secondly, you are able to reduce no-shows, because the moment someone actually commits to putting a time slot within your calendar, it's much more difficult for them to go ahead and back out. You can also take a deposit in advance if you don't want to go ahead and waste your time. And thirdly, it pre-frames and a future paces the conversation so that you can build anticipation and build value for when you do have the appointment. Common online scheduler platforms are Schedule Once, which you can go to scheduleonce.com. You've got YouCanBook.me. I'm a big fan of YouCanBook.me, even though they don't have the best, sexiest templates, but they are able to take deposits in advance, which is one of the necessary options that I need when I'm going ahead and actually filling up my own personal funnel. Step 4 is to pitch the executive briefing. One thing I always want every single entrepreneur to understand is that when you ask the right questions, you will control the conversation moving forward. And that's not to say that you'll be some sort of question Nazi, but it's to understand that you're the one who's bringing remarkable value to the table. So you need to ask the right questions at the right time, and that questions are the answers when it comes to being able to pre-frame things effectively to win any type of particular deal. The first section of every appointment and every conversation where you get the chance to pitch your executive briefing, you want to be able to set the frame. This is extremely crucial, and here's how you do it straight off the get-go. You say, hi name, I'm extremely excited that we could both set aside 18 minutes to talk today about the future of insert company name and whether we are a good fit in moving forward towards a yes. Here's what I know today. And go ahead and just recite a summary of recent email interactions, as in, here's what I know today, that you wanted this specific type of solution. You said that if I waved a magic wand, this will be a perfect solution, ... Do you still feel the same about that? And just let your prospective buyer talk. They'll go ahead and say, yes, that's still the same. Or they'll say, well, actually, I had a talk with my other sort of decision makers, my other partners, my organization. Here's what we really want. So just attentively listen, take down notes, really just go ahead and make sure that your prospective buyers do most of the talking so that you can really get a deep metaphysical understanding of where they're at. Once you've gone ahead and let your prospect talk, you want to go ahead and regain frame control and start it off by having a strategic discovery conversation. And how we best do this is by the number one question I love to use, which is, if we were to have this conversation in 12 months time, what would have had to happen in order for you to be happy with our results? Question mark. Question 2, what one obstacle has prevented you from achieving insert desired result? Question 3, how long have you operated with this not working for you? Question mark. Question 4, if you didn't make a change within the next 6 months, How would that impact insert company name across all departments? 5. Is it possible for you to change this on your own? 6. Tell me in 1 minute or less exactly how you're going to turn around your company, or how you're going to turn company name around. So the reason why this particular question is important, because if your prospective buyer, your high-level decision maker that you're on an appointment with, cannot answer this question, they most probably have no idea what they're doing, or it's been a long time since they've really gotten clarity on what the problem is, and your job is to go ahead and set the frame right that you are the number one provider moving forward. Question 7. What are you willing to do to make it happen? 8. So how soon are you looking to achieve desired result? If your answer, or if the answer you get is right now, they've got a high desire, which means they're extremely interested in being able to select you as the number one solutions provider to their problem. However, if they say something else like, well, yeah, I'm not too sure, maybe 3 months, 6 months, then you would have to go ahead and regain control. And you would have to ask them this one question, which is, what has excited you to delay our success to get you the results you want? So you want to bring it back to the fact that what has changed? You know, you obviously got onto this phone call for a reason, but all of a sudden you're not really interested, or your desire is not that high. What has changed? 9. Here's how I can best help you. So lay out your winning game plan. So, okay, here's what we need to be able to help you win these big software accounts. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Blah blah blah. And then of course they'll say, oh well, how much is this going to cost? This all sounds great, but you know, how much does it cost? Here's how you address the cost question. You would then say, I'd love to charge you 100k, or say some figure that's a lot more than what you normally charge. However, the investment is only 35k. Then pause, let your prospective buyer just digest it, and then follow up to say, how would you like to proceed? Question mark. So here's a B2B power tip after you have this specific strategic discovery executive briefing call. You want to leverage serendipity in the most effective way possible. So after the executive briefing, you need to do something and stand out and be remembered. And Seth Godin, world-renowned marketer, absolute genius, always talks about having a purple cow. So what is it that stands out, that's your purple cow, that you can do to differentiate yourself from every other person who may have spoken to your prospective buyer in the past week, in the past month, or heck, even within that particular day? So whether the prospect says yes or no, I want you to do this one thing to differentiate yourself from the rest of the herd. Here's your purple cow, or a couple of purple cows that I can pass your way. Purple cow number 1 is to send a thank you card. You can use a platform like Send Out Cards that can send a pretty cool, nifty thank you card directly to their particular office, or their particular organization. But you also want to go ahead and FedEx that thank you card their way, so that you maximize the time between when they last talk to you and when they're going to go ahead and remember you. Second purple cow is to go ahead and send an oversized gift. So I know this is a little bit exaggerated, this image here. You don't have to send a cube about that size, as tall as this guy here. You know, it doesn't have to be a 6-foot Rubik's Cube, but it can be an oversized gift that's larger than what most gifts that people generally give. And you want to attach a particular handwritten letter with it that says something that's very human. You know, that's not like a 5-page sort of marketing sales letter. You just want to send something with a very humanized note, such as, hi name, glad we have now found the missing piece to, let's say, IBM's lead generation puzzle. Looking forward to solving it together. And just have your name, contact email, and contact number. So keep it short and sweet, but in a way that differentiates yourself from everyone else. And the reason why you'd want oversized gift is because when there's an oversized gift that's FedEx through Lumpy Mail, it's 100% open rate. Most of the time, they'll be like, what the heck is this? What is within this package? So not only does it arouse curiosity for this particular high-level decision maker that you've reached or connected with through your strategic discovery call, but now you've given them something that sparked curiosity, and also an object that will inevitably sit on their table, on their wall, what have you, that will spark curiosity and conversations throughout the whole organization. Every time one of their employees walks into the company and says, hey, like, who gave you that huge Rubik's Cube? Or hey, who gave you that huge magnifying glass? The decision maker would then go ahead and open up the conversation about how they had this great appointment with you the other day. So why purple cow gifts? Because he or she will never forget that conversation, and now you have empowered your prospect to have a story worth sharing within the particular company, and most probably will lead to future business if the deal isn't won just yet. Just have a recap. We went through the 4 steps LinkedIn leverage system, which involves step 1, setting up the LinkedIn sponsored email campaign. Step 2, performing email follow-up. Step 3, setting the appointment. Step 4, performing the executive briefing. So would you like me to personally help you build $1 million client attraction system? If so, just click the link below or the link within the description. So I'm sure you're wondering, okay, so these LinkedIn ads sounds cool. It's a semi-automated system where we can really focus on winning big accounts, winning big clients in medium to large organizations, but you know, what do the numbers actually add up to? How much will all this LinkedIn ads actually cost for us to run campaigns? And let's go ahead and crunch some numbers. So cost per send for us to actually send out an InMail. Before, you would have seen on the previous screens that was about 70 cents, 80 cents, what have you. But with this hyper-targeted strategy, I've been able to get the cost per send down to about 50 cents, which is quite reasonable to be able to send it out. Then the cost per open, so let's say we have 50% of people who receive this message within the inbox actually open the particular email. That means it costs you $1 to have it open. And then let's say you have 20% click-through rate, so 20% of people see your message within their inbox and they click through, so that's $5 cost per click. And then 40% go ahead and opt in within your LinkedIn lead generation form, so it's about $12.50 per lead. Let's say, I can't promise this for you, but I'm going off by sample statistics for both myself and my clients, and that is you get about a 10% booking rate. So let's say it costs you about $125 to get an appointment booked, and you close 1 in 4, so your cost per client is about $500. So I know what you're thinking, cost per acquisition is $500. Are you serious? That's so much. Well, yeah, like, if that's an issue, honestly, there's a lot of things that we need to talk about. Because if you're selling a high-end service, which is, let's say $3,000 a month, $5,000, $10,000 a month, or even some sort of software package that's $20,000, investing $500 to be able to land a new high-end client, it's pretty much printing money. For those of you who may think it's an issue, here's my tip for you. That is, I want for you to address your fears and just begin to raise your prices. I'm giving you permission now to go ahead and play at a higher level, because going ahead and trying to win the race to the bottom where you're charging the cheapest will not empower you to be able to win the best accounts or the best clients that you are looking to serve. So would you like me to personally help you build $1 million client attraction system? If so, click the link below or the link in the description. So just one more thing. What's the most frequently asked question that I always get from entrepreneurs from time to time? That question is, how do I go ahead and actually 10x my results? Because you're going to have a whole bunch of leads and people from LinkedIn go into your funnel, go into your email list, but how on earth do you go ahead and make sure you maximize your results? And here's how you do it, is that you make sure that you maximize your follow-up. So fortune is in the follow-up, like the age-old saying goes. So a common question is, what if my prospects don't take me up on my irresistible offer right away? And that's a brilliant question. And here are a few 10x strategies. So the first one is email marketing. So I know I mentioned that we need to be an email barista, that we need to be able to brew up some great engagement questions that we can deliver through email. But I would strongly suggest that every 30 days, send a re-engagement email. So a re-engagement email would be like, hi John, it's been 30 days since we last spoke. Are you still interested in X software? Are you still interested in getting more clients, etc.? Also, performing warm phone calls. So let's say, for instance, your LinkedIn lead gen form, you were able to capture the work phone number or their direct line. Go ahead and give them a call every other week to ask them, how's business going? Are you experiencing any problems at the moment? What's your top challenge or priority that you're focused on for the next 12 months, etc. Phone calls, I do not advocate for cold calling, but for warm phone calls when you're following up, it's a brilliant strategic tool. Next is direct mail. So you can send them a cute gift alongside a thought-provoking direct mail letter through FedEx. You could send a gift such as a Rubik's Cube magnifying glass. Also, what you can do is, once you have these list of these emails within your autoresponder, here's how you can add more value, not spamming, okay? So I just want to be clear on that. Go ahead and take their email and just input it into LinkedIn so you can find them, and just send them a LinkedIn connection request, because they've already shown interest now. It's permission based, and you want to go ahead and reconnect with them on LinkedIn to just say, hey, let's carry the conversation further. What I would suggest to do next is to make a commitment that you'll get outside your comfort zone, because outside your comfort zone is where all the magic happens. Would you like me to personally help you build a $1 million client attraction system? If so, just click the link below or the link in the description. Just remember this, because I know business isn't easy. I know entrepreneurship is always full of ups and downs, but it's through thick and thin that you will learn the best version of yourself and be able to be of best service to your clients. Great quote by Peter Drucker, which is, whenever you see a successful business, someone once made a courageous decision. So that courageous decision today is for you to go ahead and persevere, get started, set up your LinkedIn sponsored InMail campaign. Just do something, just do something. Make a courageous decision that you're going to commit to bringing in more high-end clients, and you're not going to do it through traditional strategies that most gurus have taught both you and I. Just a big thanks for going ahead and sticking around all the way to the end. And I'd love to know, how did you go? Comment yes below if you are excited to begin landing more high-end clients right now, today, moving forward, so that you can really be the best version of yourself. Would you like me to personally help you build a $1 million client attraction system? If so, just click the link below or the link in the description, and we can go ahead and carry the conversation from here onwards. Thanks guys, looking forward to seeing you on my next presentation, and keep kicking butt and just doing whatever it takes to be that awesome die-hard entrepreneur that you are.